This week on the show, we're talking about the living story. That's right, Head of the Snake came out, and we're going to dive into all the great story that came with it. We also have what we call news, and Gord has a theory, of course. We're wondering where Casimir is on Shadow of the Dragon. And welcome to Shadow of the Dragon. This is episode number 34, and we're covering lore. I made a rhyme. All right, I haven't done a proper intro in two shows since Christmas, so I'm gonna do a proper intro. Okay, ready?
Ready.
All right, so let's get into this. So joining me tonight, she is more awesome than a narwhal. It is Cora.
Narwhals are unicorns of the sea.
They are, and they're very awesome, apparently. And he is slicker than a frickin' dewback. It's Gallios.
What's up?
What's up, people? It's always good to do the story ones.
It's so much easier, right?
Yeah, it is. It is, because I'm actually happy about this story.
It's all laid out.
Yeah. So tonight's show is going to be half salt and half sugar, and not because Cora's here, but because I hate everything that's in the news and I love everything about the story.
Oh my goodness, the story was good.
All right, so let's get to it. So Cora, I know you're
Yep.
not feeling well, but what have you been up to in game?
I finally played the story yesterday. Which tells you how sick I've been, that I was so sick I couldn't even make it to the computer to sit and play video games, especially a new chapter of Guild Wars. So in game yesterday, I finally played the story and it was good. I liked it. Good job, ArenaNet. But personal life, I've literally just been lying in bed for about a week. As I've mentioned before in the show and my Twitter account, I have a autoinflammatory condition called TRAPS syndrome, and it flared up the worst that it has in over 3 years this past week. So I had several doctor's visits, lots of medication, and basically sleeping all the time. So not a whole lot of game happening for me.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That sucks when that happens.
It was pretty bad. Although I do try to find humor in the situation. One of the symptoms is swelling sometimes, and my face puffed up like a blowfish. It was quite impressive. It actually got worse as the days went. And on day 3, I took a picture and I sent it off to like 3 friends and my mother. I'm like, am I worse than I was yesterday? Consensus was yes. So
it's not to find humor, but goodness gracious, that has to suck.
Well, in an attempt to find humor, are you sure that it's traps and it's not because you've been spewing out so much Quaggan lore? Maybe you were transforming into a Quaggan?
I mean, it was possible. My face was kind of smoothing into that round. Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's better today. I've been on lots of high doses of steroids, and I'm doing much better. But yeah, it was impressive there for a couple days. Although the benefit of having when the condition is so visible, because a lot of the time it's not. A lot of the time it's just pain and fatigue. So I've been working from home. Like I'll work for an hour or two, and then I nap, and then I'll work again, and then I nap throughout the day and the evening. But they've never seen my condition, and a lot of times people will be like, yeah, but how sick is she really that she can't be at work for a week? She's got to work from home. So I took that puffy blowfish picture and I sent a check-in email to my bosses, and I signed off with Moonface says hello, and I attached that picture because I want them to understand, like, I'm really not faking. I really am not able to come into the office.
Yeah.
So they didn't have any reply to that besides, oh, thanks for the check-in. We were wondering how things were going. So, yeah. At this point I'm like, you know what? I don't even care. You're my bosses. Here's my face. See you guys next week.
Well, hopefully speedy recovery.
Thank you.
Hopefully everything goes back to normal.
I'm thinking probably by Monday I might still be a little fatigued, but mostly back to normal, so that'll be good.
Well, that's good. I hope it comes back soon.
Yeah. But what about Gallios? What's Gallios been up to?
Oh, she got the segue right.
Woo!
Yeah.
She just smoothed right on into that.
Get it?
Snap.
I'm not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. As everyone should know by now, it's Mardi Gras down in this end of the world, and it's been a little bit hectic around here. It's kind of crazy. Trying to get a tux for my son. He's walking in a wedding tomorrow, so going to try to get a tux during Mardi Gras ball season is excruciating. Like an hour and a half wait to get measured, and then another hour wait to just try on your tux. And today we went to go pick it up, had to retry it on, but fortunately we got in within 30 minutes, so that was cool. But that aside, everything else was pretty good. Played a bit of Guild Wars this week. I don't know. I had a little bit of salt.
Yeah.
In the middle of the week, because people are stupid. I mean, I don't have any other explanation other than people are stupid, whiny babies.
Well, that's not very nice.
Oh no, it's not. It's not. It's not.
Why
nice
don't you
at all.
elaborate on that?
Totally not me, and that's what I was gonna do.
There you go, buddy.
You know, I've been playing a lot of World v World, and I have 2 accounts. I have one on one server and one on another server, just so I can mix it up a little bit. You know, just trying to have a little fun. And I was running on my original home server, which is Jade Quarry, and there's a Tempest out between Bay and Garrison, right? And so he's taking our sentry. So I go over there and I start fighting him, right? Trying to get him to run away from the sentry. He starts to run, so I'm chasing him, but he doesn't run towards his side of the map. He's running in a circle, or he runs towards my camp, or he does whatever trying to get away, and then another guy comes and helps me, right? And so we finally get him down, because he's one of these brick wall freaking Tempests that you can hit and hit and hit and hit and hit, and they don't take any damage. And at the end, I changed to a Condi on my Rev real quick. I switched to the demon stance, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And right away I weakened him, and then the warrior hit him and he went down. And, you know, we stomped him and we moved on. So he whispers me, "Oh, tough guy, you know, trying to kill a Ellie who's running away, trying to kill a player who's running away, yada, 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 yada. You're in freaking World v World, dude. Get over it.
If it's red, it's dead.
You know, if I let you go, you're going to take my camp, and I'm going to have to go flip it again. No, you're going to go down. I'm sorry. Stop whining. If you can't handle it, get the hell out of World v World. It's war. And that's what it's all about. I mean, I'm sorry. If I could take you prisoner, I would have taken you prisoner. How's that? Big old crybaby. But anyway, I'm over it now. But other than that, had a really good time. Enjoyed the hell out of the story. Cannot wait to listen to what you guys have to say about the story. And I won't go any further than that, because it'll be good just to say that something finally came to a completion. So
yeah.
Anyway, I won't say any more than that, because I want to let y'all make it sound fantastic. So Gord,
yes,
what
sir.
have you been up to in game?
I have been playing the living snot out of Lake Doric. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. So good. Yeah, I've been working a lot, and I'm basically working my second job now, Tuesday through Sunday. So I don't have a lot of time, but it's only going to be for the next couple of weeks, and I'll be back in game. You know, but I mean, I was happy when, well, I knew that they were releasing Lake Doric, and, you know, I was happy to be able to say, yeah, guys, I kind of said that on the show. You know how much I love saying that.
I know how much you love running that train horn.
Yeah. But, you know, W was good this week, too. I was able to get in, I got there a little late, but we were able to get in good fights again, and it's because we're in tier 2. And there's I just read on Reddit today, somebody had posted, had asked what's going on with TC, and it just kind of shows the sad state of affairs of tier 1 WW right now. Not even Blackgate wants to be in. From what I read on Reddit, the people that were commenting that were from Blackgate did not want to be tier 1 anymore because it is just, I guess, completely toxic in tier 1. And we've been in tier 2 fighting SOS and FA, and they're, they could be annoying. There's some annoying tactics, but for the most part, it's been a great fight, and I'm dreading reset night because I hope we don't go back up into T1. So
yeah, that's tonight.
Yeah,
it's reset now, but I don't know who we're fighting this
yeah,
week.
we'll see. But I mean, whatever. WW is good. Our guild group is starting to get really good at movement, and Gallios and I are getting a little bit better at commanding as far as calling targets and vocalizing commands more. Because I know with me, I just kind of expect people to go with me, and I've been trying to really say the commands, direct the battle where it needs to go, and it's been coming together really well until we go to tier 1.
Yeah, so, I don't think there's any worry about that happening anytime.
No, there is, man. There is, because I was gonna ninja news this story and then decided not to. But I guess the one big thing that came out of it is, I guess, what people are saying, and it's probably not true, but I hope it's not true. But I guess a prominent WW streamer who's on TC was talking about some of the devs, and their TC's theory is that they have been forced to tier 1 out of spite to kind of punish. So I don't know if it's true or not. Whatever. I hope it's not true. But I mean, tier 1 is there's just a lot of problems in WW right now. But tier 2
tier 1
is above
unbalanced. That's the problem.
It's the fair weather WWers, which, I mean, if you just jump into WW here and there, that's fine. That's not what I'm talking about as far as fair weather. It's the people that are, people in guilds that are just like, oh, we're not winning, we're not in first place, well, we're not going to do anything, we're not going to help. And
right.
It's just a very toxic environment in tier 1, and it's always much nicer in tier 2 and the lower tiers. And hopefully something can be done about it. I doubt it can be, but I mean, that's that. So there's our ninja news in the opening.
In the intro, Bing Bang.
So I wanted to talk a lot more about what I've been doing, but it's all been the living story, so there's no sense of talking about that now, because we're going to be talking about that for about 45 minutes to an hour in a couple minutes. So that's all I got.
Put your stocking caps on, folks. It's about to be a long one.
Yeah, you know what? Put some lotion on, because there's about to be a lot of salt.
Why do you need
salt.
Lotion?
I don't know. That's the only thing I could come up with. What do you need to counteract salt?
An ER visit? I don't. If you consume too much salt, you can die. So.
All right. So what if you're walking in the desert in a salt storm? What do you do? That's what you need to do for the news.
I'm pretty sure deserts don't have salt storms.
Well,
they have sand storms.
Well, sometimes there's salt in the sand. Come on, go with me, Cora. Go with me.
I cannot go with you in your incorrect alt facts. This is not happening.
Well, you know what? In my world,
there's salt in the desert.
There's salt in the desert, and there's salt storms in the desert.
I can't even language right now because of what's coming out of your mouth. So.
Ouch.
All right.
No language right now.
At any rate, that's going to be the intro. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back.
Welcome back, Gord.
That was fast, huh?
That was
Welcome
awesome.
back, guys.
We're doing our first live production. So we're doing a one shot of the show, so mixing in all the bumpers as we go. So that's why that went. This is the first time my co-hosts are experiencing the bumpers.
Like,
It's
normally
really
it's
awesome.
like a 15-minute break when
Yeah.
he's like, we'll be right back, and it really is like, okay, I'm gonna go make some dinner, I'm gonna use the bathroom, I'm gonna go get all
Yeah,
my
for us, it
bank.
was a drink break. Gotta go pee.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
it. There's your first
It's
news
rock
story.
and roll, baby.
We
rock
are
and roll.
one step closer to a live show. All right, so
Okay.
let's jump into the news. So the first bit of news is, and I hope I don't butcher his name, but Daniel Doiku
Oh yeah,
has left
the
ArenaNet.
artist. Yeah.
He was the art director, but fear not, because we are in the quite capable hands of his son Horia, who is taking over. Now, I didn't realize this. Peter Freeze, because now I'll say his name right, but Peter Freeze put out that Horia actually worked on Second Son and a few other games, but Second Son really, infamous Second Son on PS4, really stuck out to me because it's a very beautiful game. It's
Yeah,
set
it is.
in Seattle, I believe it was. Yeah.
Yep.
And very beautiful game. So, who better to take over his position than his son? So, Daniel Doiku is an amazing artist. He's gotten awards for ArenaNet concept art for the past 3 or 4 years, I believe, in I forgot the art contest, but it's something around E3. So, we wish him well, and I don't think that this is as much of a hit. People kind of freak out when people are leaving ANET. It's going to happen. The game's 5 years old. Some of these people have been with ArenaNet for 10 plus years. So
Yeah.
people move on.
Sometimes you just need a change, or you want to work on something different.
So good luck to Daniel. Love his art. Love
Mhm.
Second Son. It was a beautiful game. Very happy that his son has taken over, and it's a very seamless transition. So here's my dig at Mo now. Hopefully we can hire some more directors, since we are coming up on Colin's 1 year anniversary of departing for Amazon's. No laughter? Come on, guys.
I'm sorry, you caught me in mid drink.
I was coughing, and so I muted.
Good job.
I'm gonna go with that.
I am gonna throw a Twitter party for Colin's 1 year anniversary.
Nice.
Yeah.
Twitter party.
It's coming up. All right, so I won't say what's written in the show notes, but
That's good, because I didn't read the show notes.
Mr. John Smith is at it again. There was a way to get Ascended Armor through Fractals and PvP. It was a little bit easier in PvP because it only cost Shards of Glory. In the Fractals, it cost a little bit more. But apparently John Smith decided that we were not spending enough money on this Ascended gear that gives a 3% increase over exotic gear, but allows you to see, what is it, one? It's either 1 or 2. I think you can see 1 Agni Resistance infusion and 1 other infusion, or whatever it is. But, apparently that is worth thousands of gold.
Mm.
Because now they've implemented new crafting recipes. So it's sat in for a couple days. It's for the Ascent of Ending. I guess Grant Gertz was the one who put it up on the forums of Guild Wars 2, and they just put in new recipes. And I didn't even look at it, to be honest with you, but it's expensive. It's very expensive. So now, it's just another thing in the game where it makes, I know I joke around a lot on the show about how much wealth I have and everything else, but honestly, I never have more than 1,500 gold. There's people in the game, like I know Hunter from Host of Ascalon has over 7,000 gold right now. There's people in game who have 200,000 gold.
What?
Where they can't get any more gold. That is the gold cap in Guild Wars 2. 200,000 gold.
Wow.
Holy.
You buy
And then-
every legendary, Series 1 legendary 7 times over with that
And
much
then
gold.
there's people like me who, on good days, have 10 gold, and I'm like, woo, I'm rich.
Exactly. Well, that's what it comes down to. If you play the game consistently now, it's not hard to make gold. It's really not. But I'm coming to a point in my life where I don't have a lot of time. I'm working a second job to help with some projects I want to get done around my house that I got. So I don't have a lot of time. And the ways that they're forcing you to make gold is just really not great. I'll touch on it quickly, but I'm not really that impressed with the leather farm. And apparently a lot of people aren't, from what I've seen, because I've hardly seen any Zerg groups running the leather farm. And maybe I'm just, again, on at the wrong time. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong map. Who knows? But
I haven't even seen it.
What's the leather farm?
We'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it in the next segment. But anyway, the other thing that came out too was they feel that Mystic coins are finally at the right price point. So they feel that Mystic coins should be worth about 1 gold each. And the more of these recipes that are coming out, even for some exotics, are calling for 250 to 300 Mystic coins. It's insanity. So I understand there's a lot of money out in the market. There's a lot of wealth out in there. You can, being a casual core player, where if you play every day, if you play for maybe 2 hours a day every day, you can make enough gold in a reasonable amount of time. But when you're a player like me, and even Cora at times, I only have time to do my dailies. I'm probably down to playing maybe 5 to 7 hours a day or a week. I wish it was a day.
I was gonna say 5 to 7 hours a day. Like, what were you at before?
But that's when that's my plan when I win the lottery. But anyway, for a person like me who's playing 5 to 7 hours a week, I've gotten chosen. So I am going to craft my legendary shield. I decided I want to finish all the Series 1 legendaries and be done with it.
Hold up.
Yeah, I said I wasn't doing hot legendaries.
You're crafting more legendaries?
I said I was not doing hot legendaries.
No, you're crafting more legendaries.
I said I took a break. It's been 6 months since I finished Jukin Champawat.
No, I believe the last time I heard you talking about crafting legendaries, you're like, I'm done. I'm not crafting any more legendary. I'm done. This is stupid. I'm not doing it anymore. Well, I'm fairly certain it was something along those lines.
Well, but this is how stupid John Smith's economy is. I'm getting chosen for 374 gold. It will cost me anywhere from 975 to 1,300 gold to purchase all the materials. And even if I have those in my stockpile of materials, which is very low, it's still worth that much money. Anywhere from 950 gold to 1,300 gold. Why would I do the crafting when I could just go buy the freaking precursor? And all the precursors are dropping on the market because nobody's buying them. Because if you have the materials, you can go and get it. So it's more economical now to buy the precursors, and maybe that's what they want. I don't know, but still, I'm taking I know I said I'm done with Heart of Thorns Heart of Thorn legendaries. I will not craft anymore. Jukin Champawat was my only Heart of Thorns legendary that I'm going to craft. I'm done with those, but I did say, Miss Cora, that I was going to finish off the first series set because I know what I need, and I'm taking a more long-range approach. So instead of trying to be done in 45 days, I'm going to be done in 6 months because I'm farming everything. I'm not paying one dime.
Okay.
So back to it.
Going the old Gallios route, eh?
Yeah, that's it, man.
I mean,
I've
that's the Cora route too, but that's also why Cora doesn't have any legendaries.
But at any rate, I don't understand where especially Mystic coins. Mystic coins used to come. Mystic coins are in so many different recipes, and now all of a sudden you think they're 1 gold, and you're talking recipes that require 200 of them. So I'm gonna put in 200 gold worth of Mystic coins for, and this is just a hypothetical example, I'm going to put that much Mystic Coins in for a glider upgrade or something like that, like a mini, or for an exotic weapon, or to craft a backpack that I'm going to transmute anyway because it looks stupid. You know, it's very silly. It's very silly. I don't understand what they're doing with the economy, and it's just not working. And I have given John Smith the middle initial of F. And if you use your imagination, you will know what that F stands for.
Oh, jeez.
It starts with an F,
stands for financial.
and it ends with an ER. With a CK and a U somewhere
Smith.
in between,
That's what it is.
not in that order. Because that's what he is. Because the economy sucks. In my opinion. In my humble opinion.
In other people's opinions, you suck. So
that's true. I'll accept that.
And I'm sure it's not just him. Like, there's got to be more than just him. So,
No.
And especially if it's, again, management, people from above saying, like, hey, tweak this and that. And then John Smith has to tweak this and that so that he gets his real world paycheck. I'm here for you, John Smith. I'm fighting for you.
That is a fight you will lose because he is making these decisions. It is solely him. He is responsible.
You're in the meeting room.
I'm not, but it has been in blog posts. He has openly made comments about it. He has taken on the responsibility of it. Mm-hmm. I don't. We'll get to more. We'll get to more. Don't make me throw my salt at you. You're sick. I want to love you. I want to heal you. Don't make me throw my salt at you.
I mean, like a little pinch of salt I can handle. If you're throwing salt licks at me, though, then I'm gonna make Gallios defend my honor. I'm
throwing like monster truck tire size salt rings at this freaking thing because what is ending up happening is that it's easier for a brand new player. Okay, well, it maybe not even easier. You're trying to attract new people into the game, or you're trying to bring people back to the game. How do you do that? What if you're a brand new player? I've gone through 4.5 years of hoarded materials because I have never ran past a node. I've saved up materials. I've used materials here and there. Whatever. I always have an ebb and flow of materials. But I've never done farming runs, but I've always had a pretty good sized amount of materials. And now I'm depleting my materials. Imagine somebody who's coming into the game day one and you see somebody running by with a legendary like, oh, I want that. This is what it takes. You know, almost 3,000 gold worth of materials for a brand new player. It's ridiculous. I don't understand what they're doing. It doesn't make sense. And they just keep doing it. Did you hear about Maguma lilies? No. It has an absolute horrible drop rate, yet they made more recipes for it to the point where one Maguma lily is selling for 20 gold on the TP.
What?
That seems a little high.
Because they're so rare. But to John Smith, that's the economy we live in. Because there's so many... There's not even so many players. There's maybe... I wouldn't even be able to put a number on it, but you figure maybe 3% of the players have that much wealth. Maybe even 5% if you be nice. You know, so I don't understand it. I don't know. They need to do something. The economy is completely broken, in my opinion. You know, I used to flip on the trading post and stuff like that. You can't even do it anymore. You know, you just can't. They have people that, you know, they've been cracking down on the insider trading and stuff like that. They have been. But, I mean, it's so silly. It's just so silly. I don't know. If you looked at what has it been, 2 weeks? Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks since Chapter 4 dropped. And I don't think leather's price has dropped much at all. I really don't. And I'm trying to craft a legendary or an ascended armor set to the point where I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to buy it from the vendor. And then they decided to change those recipes. So, and it's like, oh, you know, everything costs hundreds of gold. So I don't understand where that mentality comes from. I just don't. So that's why
it is expensive to craft.
It is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You just do scribing? Yeah, and then on top of that, do scribing and then try and make a guild decoration. Huh.
I'll
That's
pass.
ridiculous.
I mean, I'm still just trying to level up my tailor. So
Ugh. It just infuriates me. So that's that. All right, so moving on. A new gem shop thingy? You might like this, Cora. So that shaman has data mined a new shoulder armor
ooh,
that's coming. That is the shoulder armor of Bram's Wolfblood outfit that came out.
ooh.
Now, a lot of comments said that it was very silly because the shoulders are the biggest thing that people don't like about the outfits. They want to be able to turn them off, or they want to be able to interchange those things with new things. But that shaman kind of said it looks like they might, or it's possible that, well, he put the theory out there that, it's possible that they might be doing a piece-by-piece release of these new outfits for sale in the
please,
gem
God.
shop.
Yes, please, yes.
I don't think you should have to pay for it. Well, I guess gem shop items, yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
I mean,
That's
we've
fine.
talked about this before.
It
I've
would be
said
so
before, I'm
much
like,
cooler.
if they want to release a boot here, a glove there, shoulder piece there, pants here, whatever, I'll pay for it. I don't care. Give me my armor. I'll bake you a cheesecake, Arena Net. Give me my armor.
My only thought for this story is that if they were actively putting armor that you could earn in game, you wouldn't have to want to pay for armor
This is true.
for every single set. There might be a certain set where you want that leg piece, or there might be a certain set where you want that chest piece. Fine. If it was like that, that's fine. But, there's no new armor coming in the game. It's too hard. It's too hard to make armor. Ugh.
I would love there to be new armor to earn in games. Like when the core game dropped and you run around, you kill things, and you pick up pieces of armor, and that's where you get several sets of armor that way from just killing beasties, or completing hearts, and then you go to the heart vendor and they've got armor, or a piece of armor and you buy it from them.
Yeah.
Or the orders, the Priory, Vigil, Whispers, they had their unique armor sets, and you had to be part of that organization to then go buy the armor. And yeah, we haven't gotten any new way to earn armor. And I like I said before, I understand they've got to balance. We have to pay our bills, we have to pay our employees, and we have to try and get the most content into the game and most value for that content. And if they were looking at it and going, we're not getting that from armor, okay, that is a disappointment for somebody like me who does really appreciate the armor. Okay, so put it in the gem store, I'll buy it. Okay, well, you've switched it from being armor in the gem store to now it's outfits, so I can't mix and match. So I've lost the ability to customize my characters. Well, I now look like everybody else, except maybe my colors are slightly different. And that's a disappointment.
Well, but Fashion Wars is a real thing. There's a lot of people that do it. And, I follow a lot of people on Instagram that do custom armors like that. And it's nice to see in the game. Everybody doesn't want to look the same.
No, that's why I love my primary, my NG, my Revenant, even my Necromancer, who I haven't really played a whole lot. Nobody looks like them because they're all mix and match armor sets. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love when I'm posting screenshots, or somebody in game whispers me and goes, "What armor set are you wearing?" Mm-hmm. And I get to tell them it's a mix and match. I've made it myself. There is nobody in game who looks like my character. I mean, I'm sure somebody could pull it off, but you'd have to take time and really analyze what am I wearing. So it is a disappointment where I look at pieces on Marjorie's new outfit or Timy's new outfit or Bram's, and I go, oh, I really want to wear those shoes. Those shoes would look so great with these pants or that jacket. I really like those gloves, and I can't because it's just it is disappointing.
It's very disappointing.
As much as I love Marjorie's new outfit, haven't bought any of the outfits that they've come out with for this new season. Just because for me the value's not there. and I do buy outfits. I do. I'm not saying I don't want them to have outfits, because especially when you make a new character, and you look at some of the basic armor sets and you're like, meh, that's ugly, and I can't keep affording to, buy new armor to maintain the look as I'm leveling my character up. So I'm just going to throw an outfit on.
Yeah.
And again, some of the outfits are really fun. But when you don't have that option anymore, when you started the game with armor sets and now it seems like you don't want to do that anymore, you just want to switch to the outfits only.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. We've all been in the game since launch. How many characters do you have left that's not level 80?
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
come on.
I mean, sometimes it's fun to start a new character. I am
It is. You're
one
right,
of the people
but
who like to go in, and every now and then I'll start a new character to play through on a new storyline, or to try a different build or something. And that's where, or one of the races where if I'm like, okay, I don't think I've played through this personal storyline if I choose these options, so I'm going to play that one.
Yep.
And that's where it's again, it is frustrating.
It is.
So yeah, I think that's I've talked about it before, and I think that's enough for me to say that yeah, I'm as much as I love the fashion wars, as much as I love the outfits, I'm not buying them.
No, I don't blame you. And apparently a lot of people are not buying them or not buying a lot from the gem store, because Q4 was it was again Guild Wars 2's worst earning quarter ever for NCSoft in their financials. So it doesn't really mean anything. The game is still healthy. I don't use that as a marker, but there's a lot that's going on in the game right now that is counterproductive for growth of the game, and that's one of them. There's whole segments of population that are being ignored for certain things, and you know what? Maybe people are tired of hearing me say this, but you know what? I'm tired of feeling like I have to say it. There's a lot that is left to the imagination of the players. There's a lot that's not confirmed. There's a lot of stuff that is promoted that shouldn't be promoted. And there's a lot of stuff that's not promoted that should be promoted. And it's everything. There's a lot that's going on right now with this game, with releases, with what they're choosing to highlight in their official PR releases, how much freaking news they're embargoing, how many stupid AMAs they're doing. It's very frustrating. And it needs to stop. I mean, you're alienating people at this point. So that's my salt.
Yeah. I would say similar but slightly less salty is that they've been trying different techniques, and they've found several that don't work that well. So they should move on from those and try different techniques.
They should just stop iterating. How many systems are in the game right now that are long forgotten, broken, that are just sitting there collecting dust? They're still in the game. Dungeons, forgotten, not supported, still there, still required for legendary crafting. Why are we doing this? It almost feels like this has been a 4.5-year high-level beta. Stop trying. Stop trying. Start working with what worked. Go in that direction. Finish the game. That's it. I mean, it's just very frustrating.
Yeah, I can agree with it. One of my favorite memories. This is the night of, as I've said before, art teacher in high school told, best advice for life. You got to paint the canvas that you're given, or paint the canvas that you picked. And ArenaNet chose a canvas that had certain game mechanics in it. And then at some point, it does feel like they went, oh, well, I don't like this. I don't want to work on this project anymore. So I'm going to cut the canvas down, or I'm going to switch canvases, and I'm going to, or I'm going to tack on some extra paper over here. And it's sort of becoming the Franken canvas.
It is. Well, this game has done a complete 180. And now I don't like using this as a comparison, because people do change, directions change, things grow, whatever. But the game that they envisioned and that they promoted in the manifesto in 2010 is not the game we're playing today.
No.
It's complete 180. And that's fine if that's the direction they need to go in. There's some good stuff coming out. There's a lot of not so good stuff coming out. So, I mean, that's it. And I promise that's the end of the salt. So we're going to end the news with some sugar from Gord.
A little bit of sugar.
A little bit of sugar. So on Wednesday, we did not only just get a skill balance, which I felt was... I know there's been a lot of people who theorycraft builds and make builds much better than I can, that understand the intricacies of skills and traits and how they interact much better than I can. But I can say that I think that this was a positive skill balance. I think that it opened more classes to become to be included in rating metas, or at least be more viable for rating. I know Ellie took a big hit that people weren't happy about. I know that there were some changes people weren't happy about. I saw that Brazil was very vocal that his power necro does less DPS than every other power build in the game, and he's not happy about that. And I don't want to discredit that. From my perspective, I don't have to change gear. I don't have to buy new sigils. I don't have to craft new exotic armor because it's the only thing I can afford, and that's still 120 gold per set. Thanks, John F. Smith. But I think that was good. But what was better that came out of that, and I hope I'm not spoiling this for anybody. By the time the show releases, it'll be a week. I'm probably spoiling it for you, Cora. But they put a monument for Traherne out in front of the grove. So at the main entrance of the grove, when you come in from Caldon Forest, there's a big statue of Traherne, which is nice to see. And I think, a lot of people were like, oh, it's about time, Arena. You know what? This is the first of the firstborn Sylvari that achieved so many great things, that really stood above every other firstborn Sylvari and really achieved greatness in the world of Tyria in lore. And the Sylvari is, 27 years old at this point as a race?
Yeah.
And it took them a while to kind of figure stuff out. And it was people from the Pact who came back from Maguma, as far as the letter, as I recall. So I think it was very well done. It also added a little more story advancement in that you can heal Caldebolg.
Yeah.
So now this is something I want to applaud to the high heavens, because this was such a great current event. It wasn't hidden, which was sweet. All you really had to do was show up at the memorial, and as soon as you did, you got a letter from an NPC that shows up in your home instance and walks you through. It took me about 2 hours to do, taking my time. Thankfully, Delphi had already put a guide up on Delphi.net, which was awesome, and that was only 2 hours after release. So that's how I got mine done, and I got it done really quick. So thank you, Delphi. But anyway, every part of it was so freaking good. And then at the end, right before you reforge a sword, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I think it's still a little young. I think most people I think most people have done it, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But on the last fight, it was just like, it was like a huge Guild Wars 1 moment. And it was freaking awesome. It was so well
I
done.
haven't done it yet.
I haven't done it either, so this is getting me excited.
So the cool thing about it is that you don't just forge Caldebolg. You can forge Caldebolg into whatever you want, as far as a sword, a great sword, a shield, a dagger, and there's one more weapon. What was the other weapon? I don't remember what the other weapon was. But you only have to beat it once, and then what you can do is you go and find the NPC that set it off, and for 1,000 Unbound Magic, you can change Caldebolg into something else. So you can unlock all 5 skins for 4,000 Unbound Magic, which is really cool. And then on top of that, at the very, very end, the Pale Tree avatar awakens and summons you to the grove. So so she's awake again. She's still weak, but she's awake again.
Very cool.
which closed another storyline. So
Yeah.
it was a really good patch, and I'll throw poo at these guys when I feel like I need to, but this is one I think a lot of people were very happy with it, and this is the content that we need. Stuff like this. Stop hiding your content. Stop hiding achievements. Give us stuff like this. Just because all it was one letter. Hey, come see me in your home instance when you have time, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it actually awards when you complete the whole thing and get done with the Avatar of the Pale Tree. You get 25 achievement points for completing it. So very well done. Loved every second of it. The last fight was a little frustrating, but loved every second of it. It was awesome. So well done. Cheers.
That's awesome. That sounds neat. I'm gonna go do it now.
You have to.
I'd read about it, but I didn't get a chance to go do it because I got all hung up in my, World v. World bullcrap.
Yeah, well, just the experience of the lore of it it's just so well done. I mean, it's still kind of a scavenger hunt. You have to go to different locations, but it's nothing crazy. And then, it does cost a vision crystal to make. You do have to have a vision crystal crafted, but it only costs one. And they're pretty easy to make. So, they're not too horrible. And it's a scavenger hunt. And if you follow the Delphi guide, you can get the scavenger hunt part of it done in probably 20 to 25 minutes.
That's exciting. I look forward to doing that. I had seen it and I'd heard about it, but I hadn't. Again, my energy was focused on I just need to get through the actual chapter so that I can talk tonight. But hearing all this has got me really excited for it. So.
You should be, because it was really well done. Very well done. I hope to see more stuff like that, because the last fight is just like the music, the way the way it frames the music and how they present it, the beginning of the fight is just like, this is so freaking cool,
That's awesome.
Oh man, you're just making me want to go quit right now. You guys go ahead and do that lore speculation thing. I'll be
no.
I'll join you.
I'll be in the back playing car.
Caldebo.
All right.
That is going to take care of the news. And we're going to take a quick break and be right back. Welcome back. It's so fast now, isn't it?
It's so fast.
Super fast.
I didn't even get to go to the bathroom this time.
I know, neither did I. I think I had a sip of my tea and that was it.
Nice. All right, so so we had a new Living Story chapter, which I will say now I believe is probably the best so far, in my opinion. We did get Lake Dork. I was pretty sure we were gonna get Lake Dork, and it just goes to show, just because they say we're not getting a map doesn't mean we're not getting Lake Dork. Don't fall for it, because remember what I said, Gallios?
I do. You always say it.
Well, I don't like being like that. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, I know everything, because I don't. I really don't. But I kind of gleaned from what was said, and it just became rampant wildfire. Oh, Lake Dork's never going to come. Well, it has to come. It's established lore, place, whatever. So right. Don't listen to Reddit. All right, so the Living Story. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to kind of walk us through the steps of the Living Story, and we all pitch in, because Gallios wasn't rained out of this one. So he actually got to play it and didn't have to watch somebody else play it. But so the story starts off. Oh, and just to backtrack, we didn't cover any of the patch notes or anything in the news, because they came out 2 weeks ago, and honestly, Relics of War and Heroes of Ascalon did a really good job of kind of picking things out. And
Heroes of Ascalon? Ghost of Ascalon.
Host of Ascalon. Well, they're my heroes. So. So thanks for the correction. But anyway, that's why we didn't touch on it there, because, there's no sense. It's 2 weeks after the fact. So anyway, okay, so the story starts off with a summons from Queen Jenna. Go!
Go where? My favorite thing was actually getting reminded of how pretty awesome Jenna is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the way she protected everything. I mean, that was awesome.
Well,
I forgot how powerful she was.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's in the book Edge of Destiny, that she's this extremely powerful mesmer that can cast huge spells, but we've never seen it in game. And then here, Divinity's Reach comes under attack, and she's like, "Nah, I got this."
Yeah, she was badass.
There was more to it than that for me. I mean, starting from the beginning, when you first come in and have the initial conversation with her, it's almost like I got that she's very, very comfortable in her position as queen.
Yeah.
And she does kind of hold herself above everyone else. And it kind of came through in that little jab to me that she made, that, oh, well, you just relentlessly smash whatever gets in your way, and I think it was kind of a slight.
I don't think so. I think she in some ways is sort of envious of that ability, because she has to find the diplomatic route. It's not, I didn't see it as you're just, this brainless person that smashes things. No, I saw it as, I wish I could, when I have a problem, just bash it away until the person stops.
And the first
but
thought
I
in
can't.
my mind was, "You got that right, sister."
Yeah.
That's what my thought was.
Well,
I am a badass, so step off.
What I mean by that is it was almost like a noble talking down to a commoner to me. That's how I took it.
I don't know if
maybe I'm taking it different because, and I'm going to play the gender card, because I am female, and even work places, like I see guys. I've had jobs where guys that I work with that I like, I'm like, I wish I could do what you just did, but I can't, because I will get fired, or I won't get promotions, or people will just look at me. I mean, there is an aspect of women are supposed to act a certain way, and when we don't, when we try to speak up, when we try to be more forceful, sometimes there's backlash. So a lot of professional women are really good at finding other ways around the situation, whereas yes, we would like to be able to be upfront and forceful and say boom, boom, boom. For Jenna, I'd love to be able to bash. I can't. So you have to find other ways to solve your problems. And sometimes, like Jenna, you get to be a little devious about things. And sometimes that can be really fun.
One more time.
I've played through twice, and both times I kind of listened to it. And I don't mean to, like, whatever, but to me, in the context of it, even taking gender out of it, if Jenna was a dude, I would kind of take it the same way. It was more like, oh, well, because she goes and makes her declaration, the war starts and everything else, and we advance through that little part of the story a little bit, which all of it was pretty well done. Fixing the Golem felt a little, we need content here, so let's have him fix a Golem, button, push this button for this and that button for that.
That was a little out of place.
It was. Finding the listening devices was pretty cool. I kind of expected more, because the Asura said, oh, well, this is the third time that the Golem broke down. So maybe it's inferred that the Golem was breaking down because of the listening device. I don't know, but I was kind of expecting. Well, I guess it did kind of fit in, because a bunch of White Mantle did come in, but I took that as, the corrupt ministers were portaling them, and there's a lot of mesmers in the White Mantle, apparently. So, but anyway, go through those steps. Go ahead, Gallios. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying. With all of the Cauticus stuff, it's almost like a cult.
It is a cult.
It is.
It's not almost. It is.
Well, let's not get to Cauticus yet. But anyway, so going through, you do all that little stuff. Fast forward now to where Estelle jumps up, which Kate, I'll say it right, Alona. Kate Miss Mocha did call it that it was Estelle. Who did, when I heard the speech, everybody kind of thought it was Air's voice. That's it did sound similar to Air, even though it wasn't the same voice actor. But anyway, Estelle comes out and she decides that she is going to reveal that it's on her to kill Queen Jenna. And Jenna immediately, with the snap of her finger, insta-kills 3 people. Which...
But actually, I don't know that...
that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool, but I don't know that they're dead.
Yeah, they died.
Mean,
they
I
made
think she could have just dazed them. Or
no, they made the dead sound, and then the bodies just kind of were still laying there when you were done, if I recall right. She killed them with the snap of her fingers, which again went to show how powerful she really is, which is good. It's good that kind of got out there in front of all the people, because not everybody read the book, and she's a very powerful mesmer.
Yeah.
Now I stand corrected. I'll share my theory on things, but I ran it past our friend Levy, and he told me, of course, that I bumped my head and I should never theory craft again. But she's incredibly powerful. Now, a lot of people have said that the line of Doric are very adept magic users, which I guess is true. She's very young, right? How old would you say she is, Cora?
Oh God.
Early 20s.
Mid 20s, yeah.
Mid-20s.
She's not, I don't even think she's 30. I would say maybe between 25 and 28 maybe.
Yeah. Well, but in that moment, she insta-killed 3 people. I'm going to say that that's what it was. That's how I took it. That's what it appeared to me. They made the dying Mesmer sign. And, she broke Estelle's snare that was on them. So she's incredibly powerful. I think she might be a little bit more powerful than she should be. I don't know. Thoughts, Cora?
Gallios I don't
went
have
to
any
pee.
problems with her being that powerful.
What would it be like? Here's my question. I wanted to ask you, because even if they're adept skill users, how would it make sense that she could just snap her fingers and kill somebody as a mesmer? To me, that's almost like, I guess legendary power, which makes sense if she's the queen. I don't know. I think there's more behind that, is what I'm getting at.
I mean, there could be. I mean, she's got the blood of Doric in her. You don't know what items she's equipped with that may be boosting her powers.
That's true. That's something I didn't consider.
Yeah, so I would take those things into consideration. I mean, this is a magical dynasty. They would have been, hundreds of years gathering up magical items. Or has risen. You don't know what people have found and brought back that maybe she is quietly, woven into her gown, her necklace, or whatever. So
not her shoes.
Not her shoes. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's part of why she's so powerful, is that she doesn't wear shoes. That way she can better draw on magic from ley lines or magic from Tyria itself. We don't really know why she's so powerful. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm okay with her being that powerful. One, because I just love Jenna. I've always loved Jenna, so I'm okay with her being this badass, super powerful mage. Go girl, you get it. The other part of it is her being so powerful does present the opportunity to lose some of that power and still be badass. I mean, she's Doric's blood. If we're going to get rid of the ghosts that are in Ascalon, you need to have somebody wielding one of the 2 fiery, flamey, pretty swords to break the curse. And Ritlock tried, but he failed because he's not of Doric's blood. Jenna could go in there and being that powerful, she could break the curse. And maybe you need to be that powerful to be able to break that powerful of a curse.
I think
and survive.
Yeah, I think that's the plan, that she is going to release the ghost from Ascalon, and that will be the final hatchet, bury the hatchet between Char and humans. They'll forever be friends, and that's going to end the war. Separatists should decline with...
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting ahead of myself again, but anyway, to me, when I saw that whole sequence, I was like, wow, I knew she was very powerful, but I mean, that's pretty freaking powerful. And really, if she wanted to, going back to Gallios' statement, if she really wanted to, she could subjugate anyone, really, and not have any problems doing it. So I thought that was cool to see. I do like that. I do like Jenna, but I have some new theories about her, and I'm just wondering if you guys saw, I don't know, something more behind how much power she can wield. So that was my question.
Almost nonchalantly too.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's just like,
it's nonchalant.
Like, did you expect it? Snap. Oh, I'm dead. Oh my god.
Nope. Was not expecting it.
So, and then she calls Estelle a bloated leech or a bloated flea or something like that. And really, commences to really just, I mean, you end up doing some damage to her too, but she's just like, the only way I know how to say it is she was just like, you're my bitch, Yeah. And it was really cool to see Jenna get showcased like that and really show her power. But I think there might be something underlying with that. So, but I'll come back to that later.
I think, she's been dealing with this shadowy danger for years. Before the game even launched within lore, she's been dealing with being controlled by the ministers when she hadn't officially assumed the throne yet. Mm-hmm. And then she took the throne, and they're still like, oh, you're too young, so we're gonna, and Codicus is doing his stuff. So she, I think, just beyond being a queen, just as a person, reached the breaking point of, you have been testing me and pushing, and I'm fighting back now.
Oh, yeah, because there's definitely going to be a change in the political structure at Divinity's Reach. We'll probably still have ministers, but they are not going to be of the equal power that they are now.
And that's the thing. If they had been ministers, trying to work with her to, make Creta a better place, like, honestly, she'd be willing. Yeah. I see your point. The ministry is a good idea. You are here. You are my advisors. You're trying to help me. But that's not what was happening. They were trying to make life better for themselves, to make themselves richer and more powerful and screw everybody else over. And Jenna is a good queen. She cares about her people. And the fact that how dare they attack my people, attack my kingdom. People have been killed. People are dying right now because you just don't like me. Okay, I'm gonna stop this. Like, that is her breaking point. She's just like, no, we are done. We are ending this.
I can see that, and I hope that is the intention that they have. But you can also say that she knew that this was going to happen for quite some time, and she allowed it to reach the point that it did, so that she could not only beat Codicus and the corrupt ministers of flush them all out, but really establish a show of power so that nobody would, question the monarchy again. Is I guess how I say it.
I don't see it that way. I see it as her, she was trying to, like I said before, trying to find the diplomatic route, trying to maneuver it other ways and hoping, that it's not going to come to this. I don't see her, allowing it, like, willingly going like, oh, well, people are going to die. Well, if that's what it takes. Like, I see her going, yes, I could go in right now and just snap my fingers and kill the people who are plotting against Creta. But doing that, what is that actually going to resolve? Then everybody looks at me and sees me as a tyrant because, oh, Minister Codicus is so great. Yeah. He doesn't do anything wrong. Like, no, you have to. expose the head of the snake. You have to show them for the evil that they are before you can justify going in and snapping your fingers.
Yeah. And I do hope that's the way they're going with that. But
yeah,
I mean, I kind of saw a dark side of Jenna.
Well, everybody has a dark side. I mean, I have a dark side, and I'm, as we've established, I'm a fluffy cotton candy Care Bear. But I mean,
Who wants to
everybody
punch me in
has,
the face?
yeah, with teddy bear wrapped fists. Come on. But it's that thing of everybody has shadows. And what does it
It's
take to
true.
push somebody into that shadow? The next part is, do they choose to stay there? Is that where they're going to reside? Or are they going to, once they are able, step back out into the light? And
Yeah.
I don't see Jenna choosing to stay in the shadows.
I don't either. I mean, I see it two different ways. I hope I'm wrong with my theory. So we could spend the rest of the night on Jenna. So let's fast forward just a little bit to where Logan Thackeray hobbles up to try to save the day, and then he falls on his butt. And goes, meh.
I mean, poor Logan. He's still very injured from being in the blighting pod, and it even says, my body feels different. Something has
his body
changed.
and mind feels different. That's important.
Body and mind. Something has happened to him.
Yeah.
But there's still that core aspect of Logan of, this is my queen and this is the woman that I love, and I don't care how badly hurt I am going to try to fight for her.
Yes. It was good to see Logan back. I mean, it makes sense too, because you would think, I guess in game time, probably only a couple of months have passed.
I mean, maybe not even that much time.
Yeah. You don't know.
We could be dealing on a scale of, it could have been just a few weeks.
I would say that what would make sense to me is the 2-month time frame translates to the game. There's not really a passing of season, so it's hard to tell. And you could be right. It could only be 2 weeks since Mordramoth died. But it could also be 6 months since Mordramoth died. Usually at the expansion, the year advances. So that's when we'll be able to tell when it is. They don't really put out there what the month is, what season it is, or whatever. We know with Winter's Day, there's been 2 Winter's Days, and if you use that as a progression of time, it's been over a year since Mordramoth died.
I don't think we can use those, because there's nothing within them that canonize, it's been 2 Winter's Days. Those are just festivals that happen outside of lore. But, I mean, if you play through Heart of Thorns and then immediately go into the next Living Stories, things seem to happen pretty fast. Like you're here, Timey, then here, and then, Ritlock, and then, now you're over here. It just feels like we are on a very quick time frame.
It could be.
And that maybe some time is passing, like when within this story Logan's like, hey, can you run around and gather intel? Maybe we were running around gathering intel for a couple weeks, or maybe really it was just, a 1 day or a couple day thing. So there is nothing that really does settle how quick of a timeline that is, but to me it feels like we're on a very fast timeline, that it's not been a year since Mordramoth died, maybe a few months at most, but I almost feel like it has been even less than that in some ways.
I'll have to look in the story journal, because they might have progressed time that way. I always forget that, because usually they'll put the year up on the top right of the heroes panel when you click on the story chapter. So we'll look into that a little bit more. I didn't now, but I mean, it's like you said, it could be a couple days since Mordramoth died. It could be over a year. Who knows? But I don't think it's over a year. I think it may be a couple months, but we'll see. So I think that was all the highlights of the first part of the story. So once Estelle is dead, we go back into the throne room, everybody high fives, and then we head out to the beautiful map of Lake Doric. So what did you guys think of Lake Doric, the map?
I thought it was pretty cool. I liked that it was at least easy to get around in.
It is
especially
so-
with ley line gliding.
Yeah. Well, now did
Yeah.
you know that you get your Bloodstone Fen glider skills when you're in the ley line and you're ley line gliding?
Negative. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah. I didn't know. I read it. I read it somewhere and immediately went there and started dive bombing the towers, which was fun. So I did like that. I do have to say I am disappointed that there is yet another map currency.
Which
Right.
one?
It's Jade Fragments.
Oh,
So it wasn't
yeah.
Mersat boogers.
No, okay, real quick. I'm going to interject, and then I'll get to the Jade Fragments, because I had to look up Story Journal. I was wrong. Okay, so Heart and Minds, the 16th and final story step in Heart of Thorns,
Mhm.
the year is 1328 AE.
Yep.
Era's Memorial takes place in 1329 AE.
Yeah.
Confessor's End, which is the final part of Head of the Snake, 1330 AE.
Oh wow.
It's been 2 years since we killed Murgemoth in game.
Wow.
You were right.
Good job.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to look it up.
No, that's fine. I didn't even really think of looking at it until that point
Yeah.
anyway. So thank you for looking that up.
Yeah, it just, to me, it doesn't feel like it's been 2 years. I mean, the way the story has been written, it feels like maybe a couple months at most. But no, 2 years. It's been 2 years. That's
Which makes sense
Graham
because
is still very, very upset for 2 years.
yeah, well, he's more upset than at the initial event.
Yeah.
He's even more upset, which ties into my theory
Then
of Bram becoming
that's
corrupted. But at any rate, you do show up. There is there is so much Guild Wars in Lake Doric, and I was up in the northwest corner of up by I think it's Nolan is the NPC's name, who is descended from Aiden, who was an archer NPC in Guild Wars 1.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I feel so bad for him, though, because his whole family has been
His whole
killed.
family.
didn't that happen to Aiden?
Possibly.
Didn't
I can't-
he lose his family in the Searing? Because Aiden was in pre-Searing. He was all the way out by the quest for the to purify the Hunter's Horn. That's
Let
where you
me-
ran into him. But I think Aiden lost his family in the Searing.
I believe you are right. I'm looking him up right now just to confirm. When he was a child, his father was killed by Char. He hid in the woods. Guilt drove him to become obsessed with killing them. His mother died giving birth to him. There's nothing about him having a family, though.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
eventually he did. So, but I thought
Just his
that might
father.
have happened.
Yeah.
But then in the southeast corner in Melandri's Watch, behind that there is a graveyard. You can only get into it through a special gate that only opens at night. And when you get in there, the first thing that I noticed was that every single person that's in this memorial graveyard is an NPC from the War in Kryta in
Mhm.
Guild Wars 1. And Avenia is not among them. Dun dun dun. So there's that. But anyway, I was up by Nolan's house. I think it's Nolan's Refuge, whatever they call it. And just kind of standing in the woods. I was actually looking for some spirits because I was trying to do the achievement. And all of a sudden, the pre-searing music popped. And I was just like, oh. It was so awesome. I absolutely love the map. The map feels really alive. It is so much better done. It's so much more well done than the other three.
Yes.
And one thing I didn't realize, I kind of saw it, but I didn't realize it until I watched Guild Chat, was they set it up where if you go in, there's groups of Seraph fighting White Mantle, and if you go in and you help them kill a number of these White Mantle, they start following you. So you can end up with an NPC Zerg in an area of Seraph.
Nice.
And it is so freaking, because I saw it on Guild Chat and I was like, okay, I got to try this. And I went up there and I was running through and killing the White Mantle, and I ended up having 6 of them following me. So as your Seraph morale goes up, more and more will follow you, and the more that they see you killing white mantle, they stay with you, and you can run around for quite a while with them. They won't go into the centaur camp that's up there, which is the leather farm, if you didn't know. But
okay, yeah, because that area is
Oh.
a bit difficult.
it's very
Yeah.
difficult. The only way that you could do it is with a Zerg. I have yet to see a Zerg push that hill. You do get quite a bit of leather for doing it, but the only thing is, I don't understand why, but every time I've been in the map population has been pretty low, which I was surprised with. I've teamed up with maybe 5 people. You need at least 10 people to get up to the champions at the top of the hill. And it spawns the blood-crazed rampaging, or whatever it is, the galloping centaur group. It's like 5 centaurs, and they're wall-to-wall. You can't kill them fast enough, and they knock you down. So, you have to mitigate that with a lot of cool CCs and stuff like that. So there's a lot of mechanics in there. There's a bunch of chests going up there, but you can get quite a bit of leather going up through that leather farm. It's just that the only thing I didn't like about it is it's very Zerg dependent. You're not making it with less than 10 people, and it's tough with 10
Sounds like
people.
a guild event. Sounds like a guild event.
Yeah, but I mean, for it to be a feasible farm, you would have to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it to really make some significant gains in leather. So, again, my experience, I've been on the map just every day for 2 weeks, and I have not seen a lot of people. So that's the map. Definitely check every nook and cranny, because there is a ton of Guild Wars lore in Lake Doric, and I was very happy to see it. But when you get in there, you have to meet with Logan Thackeray, who is pretty much coordinating the war effort, who was actually joined by a Char warband. There was a Char legionnaire with him. I forgot her name. I'm so bad. I play Guild Wars too. I should have written it down. But anyway, the Char said that they hate Codicus as well, and they consider this their fight. So the Char are actually defending Divinity's Reach, which is very nice to see. So gains there. And you're tasked with going through all the different areas. You have to first find the areas. What was nice about it is I did all the hearts while I was doing it, and then I ended up just saying, okay, well, all the hearts are done. I might as well do map completion. So I did map completion on the first night and got that done and out of the way. But the area is very interesting. It's very Crichton, as it should be, and it was just well done. The only thing that I did not like was you go through and you do everything Logan Thackeray tells you to do. You have to go and find all 5 of the villages and check on them, report back. Then he sends you back to assist the Shining Blade at Fort Avenia, which they change you into a mesmer. Or no, I'm sorry. It's a mesmer that changes you into a white mantle, a human white mantle, but they handled it much better this time because it was a mesmer illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't get too close to any of the white mantle or the jade constructs because they would see through it.
They even say, like, this is just an illusion. Like, if you do anything that'll cause closer scrutiny on yourself, they're gonna see through it. And so I think they heard the feedback from what they did in Bitterfrost.
Yep.
Of, this doesn't work. Like, this is totally, it breaks the immersion.
Yeah. Which is good. I'm glad they did it. It looked much better done. It was handled much better than it was, like you said, in BFF.
Yeah. Yeah. I overall, I liked a lot of things. I know we were talking earlier when I cut in with the timeline about the Jade Shards and how it's annoying that there's another map currency type. But I saw it less as like a currency type and more as like, I get to go forge these things.
Yeah, and when you mine a Jade node, it is not a 1-for-1. So you might get 1 Jade Shard out of 3 strikes at a node.
Yeah, but you get Unbound Magic.
And
And so I saw Unbound Magic as the map currency, not the Jade Shards.
but you need the Jade Shards to get the map rewards.
You do. You do need them, but I didn't see it this like I said, it didn't feel the same as with the other ones where okay, I have to go get bloodstone rocks and here and then I have to go get the berries on this other map and then break those down into Unbound Magic. No, when I'm running around and I see a Jade Shard, I mine it and maybe I get a Jade Shard, but I definitely get Unbound Magic.
Well, but if you want the Jade Shard in your home instance, you have to save up, I think it's 10,000 Unbound Magic and a stack of Jade Shards.
Yeah. Well, but you can
Which
use
is a lot.
Unbound Magic to buy Jade Shards.
Yeah, that's true. Which, again, I experienced the living story a different way because there's yet again another set of dailies, but it's like you said, if you go through and you do the dailies in all of the maps and break that stuff down to the Unbound Magic, you can get the stuff a lot quicker and you get a lot more rewards and everything else. And I'm not keen on staying in areas just because they're new. I don't like the mentality of, okay, we're going to farm this for 2 months and then move on and the map is dead.
Yeah.
But that is definitely the atmosphere that's definitely what these maps are being developed for.
Yeah. They're very different from core Tyria maps, and even different than Heart of Thorns maps. It's very strange. They've got 3 map types. It's what it feels like. You've got core Tyria, where I can run around and I can play on my own, and I can do the entire map. I can do all the events. Maybe not group champion things, but like I can do all the other stuff. And then you hit Heart of Thorns, where it's, okay, I can do some of the map stuff, but I can't get the map to completion because it's not made for solo players. It's made for a map full of people if you want to get the best experience. And then nightfall happens and I can't do anything because it's night and you're not supposed to be out there alone. You're supposed to be with the map Zerg. And then you have these maps where it does feel like new content, come in, everybody for 2 months, play, get all the map currency that you want, and then new content, new map, new currency. Nobody, why would you want to go back? Like, I have no desire to ever play Bitterfrost ever again.
I need to though. I still have achievements there, and I do too, but I don't want to go in there, and especially because I don't want to have to forge that stupid drink so that I can play for a day, a few hours. Like I just don't have any desire. You can stay on the ground. You don't have to go up in the air.
I know, but I'm stupid. Okay, let's be honest. I'm stupid, and I'm gonna forget that I'm not supposed to go up there, or not even not supposed to, not allowed to go up there, and I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna die, and it's gonna make me mad. So,
no,
I just have no desire to go into those maps. None. Lake Dorg did better. A
lot better, yeah.
Yeah, so I can see I'll probably be going back. There's not as many blockers for me being a soloist to run in there and go, oh, I want to work on these achievements that I didn't get 6 months ago. I'm going to go in there. And yeah, maybe the map is not that many people, but I feel like I could still go in there and I could do okay. I mean, the test will be time, but
I've soloed it every day.
Yeah, so, but I don't have that feeling at all with Bitterfrost.
No.
Zero of that feeling. Like, that is not a map that I can do. I would have to call you guys up and be like, hey, there's an achievement I really want to get. Would you guys play with me? And that's not a fun feeling for a map.
It's not. And I'm in the same boat where I would tap my guild and say, hey guys, is there anybody that would help me do this? And they would, but it's kind of like you're pulling people into stories. So if you're not there in the 2-month window, you're done, you know?
Yeah.
Which I don't like. So that's my gripes with the map, but the rest of it was fine. The only other you go through and you do this stuff, then you go to Fort of Venia, you do your sabotage stuff, and then you come back. And this was the only part of the story that I didn't like. Once you finish all this stuff, Logan Thackeray says, okay, well, go back out there and beat stuff up for a little while, and you know, then we can move on with the story. So you have to go out and fill up a green bar which takes quite a bit of time to fill up. I found out that if you just go through and beat the snot out of White Mantle, it goes, for me, it went a little bit quicker than trying to wait around for the events to pop.
I have a question.
Okay.
Because, so I saw when the story first came out, and I did play for like an hour or two, and I had filled up a couple hearts, and then I got sick and I hadn't gone back on. And then I saw you post about it's super annoying. You had gotten map complete, and then they did the reset, and you lost your hearts.
Yeah.
So you had to go back in and redo your hearts. So I expected when I logged on yesterday to not have the hearts that I had been working on filled, and they weren't. So I started working on them, got 2 or 3 of the hearts filled, logged off for a little while, napped, ate, came back, and my hearts were wiped.
The hearts will reset every day, but what had happened to me is I did my 100% map completion, but the next day after reset, I lost 2 of those hearts.
Okay.
And it didn't say which ones.
Here's my thing that I don't understand. Why the heck would you have hearts reset? They've never reset
They
in any other map ever in all the years.
They started that with Bloodstone Fen. It's a Living Story 3.
Really? I'm sorry. I feel like that's terrible design.
It was something to keep people in the maps, because what they're doing now is they're herding people into these areas. This is really the only place that's going on. You might hop out to do a world boss here and there, but this is their attempt to make the content last, where it's going to take you maybe a week or 2, maybe a couple days if you're a hardcore player with a lot of time. If you're playing like me, it's going to take you the full 2 months to unlock all the minis and everything else that, all the map rewards. So they're trying to funnel people into this, and it's kind of a
bad decision.
It's not a bad decision. I don't want to say it's a bad decision.
I feel like it is.
It's a temp fix.
I feel like it's a terrible decision. I'm sorry. I'm going to be the salty one right here. And the fact that I'm just now noticing this tells you how well it's working to funnel me into those maps.
Oh, me too.
I.e., it's not because I didn't notice it. Because I don't ever go back to those maps because they're not made for me to go back to.
There's no reason to. I mean, once you're done with the achievements, once you get all the stuff out of it, that all the rewards, if you like, I don't even care about minis. I really don't. Maybe if they put a Guild Wars 1 style Hall of Monuments in where you can display your minis, maybe then I'll care about them. But right now, I don't care about minis. I never put them out. So I'm not going to sit there and farm
your
for a month.
minis should just run around your home instance.
Yeah. I mean, the cats do. Why not?
Yeah.
Ugh. Don't get me started on cats, please.
I'm sorry. I'm really baffled by that because it's like if you gave it a different icon, which they sort of did, it's a heart with an infinity, which I guess is their marker, but it's a heart. So I'm going in with the expectation of I'm playing this heart, I filled it up, it's done, and then
yes, you retain that heart for map completion.
Yeah, but to not I don't care about redoing some of those hearts. I'm sorry, they're not fun to do. Why would I want to redo it? Because you're wanting to make the map last longer.
Well, I mean, it gives you something. It does give you something to do when
Give me
you're
events.
farming. Yeah, well, it does fall under events, but it's also you get
dynamic
the karma,
events.
You get the karma reward over and over again. It's only 345 karma, I believe it is. But you get the gold. Well, it's actually silver and a couple copper that you get. So it is kind of good. No, I didn't like it at first, but playing it.
I think my problem then is I don't like that it's how it's labeled. If this is, and I guess the thing is it's oh well, it's so you can do it once every day and it resets. Then call it a daily, because that's what a daily is. Yeah. It's here's a quest, you can go in, do it once every day, and then it resets. Okay, then call it a daily for that map.
But it's such a small.
If it's otherwise it's is it a dynamic event?
No.
Then label it a dynamic event. Is it a heart? Then it's a heart, and you just do it the one time, and then you're done. They've mashed dailies, dynamic events, and hearts into this new system, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I understand. Looking at it from their perspective, all it is, it's another optional thing. I mean, if you're there, it gives you something to do, but you don't have to do it once you get 100% map completion. The only thing that's annoying about it is don't start your map completion an hour or two before reset, because you'll be halfway through and you'll lose the hearts and therefore lose your thing. But what I've been doing is I'll do all the POIs, vistas, and everything else first, and then I'll concentrate on hearts.
Wait, POIs and vistas reset?
No, they don't. Just hearts do. But once you unlock it, so getting back to it, what happened to me is I got 100% map completion. 2 of my hearts fell off, so it said I only completed 4 or 6. It set it for 3 or 4 days. I went back in and I ended up having to do all 5 or 6 hearts again before I finally found which ones it was that didn't take. And now when my loading screen says I have all 6 hearts done. So that it was a minor annoyance to me, but I mean, you do kind of get used to it, and you kind of have to, because going forward, that's how all hearts are going to be.
I don't like it. And like I said, maybe my problem is that if it's a heart, then it should function as a Corteria heart. I don't care that you put a little infinity sign below it. It's a heart.
But
if you want to put in a new game mechanic, then label it a new game mechanic. You're not sneaking this one past me, ArenaNet.
It's technically,
I'm sorry.
It's technically Heart of Thorns.
I don't care.
All right,
like
so we do everything.
I'm sick. I'm allowed to not like it.
Hey, you vent your frustration. It's fine. I'm not talking against
Gord
you.
does it every week. Come on, you shouldn't be worried about that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so back to the story. So you finally go back, and Logan tells you that everything's set. They're winning the war. So now we can go back to Jenna. And this is where I found out that there are hidden achievements in the story. They're not anything that's a huge deal. I think the most it is 2 achievement points. But I don't understand why they're hiding achievements, and now they're starting to hide achievements in the story. It's not exciting. Somebody finds it, you read about it on Dolphy, you figure out how to do it, and you do it. Just that part was silly. But anyway, you go back, you talk with Jenna, and Anise is there, and there's a little bit of dissension between Anise and Jenna.
Yeah, I told you not to trust that woman.
Well, but going back to my dark side theory of Jenna, she knew that Anise wasn't going to listen to her and allowed her to do what she was going to do anyway, because it just ended the way that she wanted it to end anyway. So,
well, I think for her, it's still like, okay, I told Anise not to go, but I know she's going to go anyways. And she's doing it for Kryta and just make sure that we get rid of Codicus and his threat. So I feel like if she really wanted to say, no, Anise, you're not going, she would have. But again, it was sort of just that putting up the front of, look, I'm supposed to say don't go, so I've said it, whatever. So she wasn't at all upset or like, oh, that Anise, we can't trust her. I don't trust her.
Yeah, I don't think it was a matter of trust with her. I think she does trust Anise, but it's kind of like I don't even know how it can make that correlate with a dark side theory of Jenna.
I don't think it does. I think she let Anise go because she's like, look,
yeah,
you might actually need the support. So while I've done my, the PR aspect of, no, Anise is going to stay here and take care of the stuff. But no, really, you might need her, so it's fine.
Right.
It was more like she knew that she was going to not listen to her, so she didn't bother.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing. She was, I could feel the smile in that conversation. And in some ways, it almost reminded me of parents. When a parent is like, no, you can't go on you can't do this thing. And then the kid's like, but I really want to do, and the parent knows, okay, I've got to be a parent and be like, no, you can't do the thing or you can't have it. But at the same time knows, it's not actually going to hurt them. So if they go, it's fine. I've done my job as a parent and said, no, you can't stay out at, till 10 p.m. or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
And then the kid comes home at 10:30 and the mom was like, "Do you have fun? Okay, good. See you tomorrow." Like she put the front on because she's supposed to.
Yeah.
As the authority figure. But again, it's like, yeah, but seriously, you might really need her help. So go have fun, kids.
Yeah. So that wraps up Anise. Well, for now anyway. So the other bit of information we get is as we're walking out, the commander invites Logan to Dragon's Watch and gets another rejection because Logan has decided that he is going to take up the mantle of Pack Commander.
And the mantle has changed slightly. Remember when it was offered to us, it was like, yeah, we don't really want the Pack Commander out in the field anymore since the last one got killed. We really want you to just sort of like bunker down and issue the orders, and then we're going to go off and fight so that you don't die and leave us leaderless.
No, that's what Logan's doing. He's going
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Like, that's why we, as commander or whoever we were, we didn't take Pack Commander because we want to be out in the field. And so Logan is saying, like, after this last round where I got pretty beat up, and Jenna is finding her own path in the world and she's doing things, like, I need to start forging my own path and doing things and making my own political name for myself, kind of thing. And I could still use the rest. So,
I took that as Logan does not want to be around Jenna anymore. And I think that Logan doesn't want to be around Jenna anymore because the magical bond is broken. And Mordremoth broke it in the Blighting Pod.
I don't know if he broke it.
He did.
But I did feel that he is sort of looking to distance
Yes.
from Jenna. And I think that goes back, I mean, all the way back to the Queen's Jubilee when she didn't tell him, hey, we're setting up this illusion and it's going to look like I fall and die, but I'm not actually. Like, he's like, look, she's not talking to me. She's not telling me things.
Mm-hmm.
I love her, but like, I can't be here anymore. Like, this isn't working. And so it is sort of like a breakup.
It is.
So it will be interesting to see. Maybe the magical forge is broken, or maybe somehow he feels like he knows it's been altered somehow, and he feels maybe he's a threat to her safety, or maybe it could have even been amplified. Like, he could know some of her secrets now and see them and go, I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of ways that they could go with that.
There is.
So.
And I will reserve my theory till later.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the last of that. So Logan does intend to become the new Pack Commander. He will be stationed in Lion's Arch, and will be safely behind the lines, which is good for his physical change.
Yeah.
So
on that, circle back to what we were talking about earlier. I'm excited to see what his new outfit will be, because if they stick him back in his Seraph armor, that doesn't make sense, because one, his Seraph armor is all broken, busted. We see that now. He's missing an arm on the armor. And two, he's not the leader of the Seraph anymore. He's the Pack Commander. He deserves a new outfit. He deserves an upgrade. So yeah. I'm excited to see that outfit, and I'm sure that outfit, quote unquote, will be in the gem store. I won't buy it unless it's really, really awesome. But it would be heavy armor, and I don't typically wear heavy armor. But yeah.
Since he's not doing field work, it could just be formal clothing.
It could be.
And not armor at all, yeah.
Or he could go back down to medium armor, because before the game starts within lore, Edge of Destiny, he was medium armor.
Yeah, for the speed.
Heavy armor was his brother's. He took it when his brother was killed.
Yeah. So
we could see him. I would still expect to see him in some sort of armor to have that authority of like the military leader authority. Like, you still have to be in uniform.
Yeah.
Versus he's not a politician, so that sort of formal wear would feel odd. I would still expect to see him in some sort of armor, medium or heavy. But given that he is now behind the scenes, I would lean towards put him in some medium armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It could be.
That'd be an interesting thing to see.
That would be kind of cool. I don't know that he's going to get an outfit like everybody else did. And I'm surprised that ArenaNet even made Dragon's Watch, because right now Dragon's Watch consists of the player character, Timey, and Ritlock, who's in jail.
Yeah.
That's Dragon's Watch.
It's been interesting. Yeah, nobody wants to join it. None of the old members of Destiny's Edge are joining it.
Mm-hmm.
None of the new members that we thought we would have are really joining it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if it was a failed experiment with lore, or like where are they taking this?
Yeah, I think they're going to take it somewhere. But that's another interesting thing that I forgot to touch upon. Somewhere, I think when you're doing the events in Lake Doric, Timey rings in and says that she figured out her experiment worked, and she was having the heart of Omad's machine shipped to Radanovis so that she could enter it, look at the eternal alchemy, manipulate it so that Primordius would fight Jormag, which I'm not even going to comment on yet because I have a theory about that. Anybody want to touch it?
Theory about everything.
I do. God, no, I love theory.
I wish I had more comments and more spunk. I am so spunkless.
That's okay.
I wish I had a thought. I don't.
It's fine. I just wanted to bring it up so that when
it's not my bailiwick.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring it up so that when I bring up my theory when we close, it's not a surprise. So that was in there. So now that's all the events to the lead up to the final confrontation with Grand Confessor Caudicus.
Oh, he's such a poop head.
I hated the fight on my Zerker warrior, but the fight was much easier with my Condi engineer.
Oh, I did it with my engineer, and it was not easy.
It was tough.
I kept dying and having to re-enter and dying and re-entering. I will say, getting off of the actual aspects of the battle right now. I loved seeing the riddle rooms in that final room where you fight, because those have been in the game since the beginning of the game.
Matt Visual found those rooms in 2013. He made a video of it.
I know nothing about that. One of my friends, longtime friend from junior high school, so way before even Guild Wars, I got her into Guild Wars, and she was much better at Guild Wars than I am. She heard about it or found it somehow, broke out of the map, and there's video she took in that room, and she took us there, and you could break out of the Caudicus Manon dungeon and go down to those rooms and just hang out.
Yep. And they were unpolished.
Yeah.
But that's another important. To me, that's important because I have been saying for a long time now, that the story is done. The story is laid out. And that, to me, was proof of it, that it was laid out from launch.
Mm.
And for it to take 3 years to show up, 4 years, actually, to show up in game is important to my theory that I will reveal later.
I don't know about that. See, I'm going to contradict. I don't know. I think it was maybe that they had plans for these rooms and then decided not to use them but didn't scrap them, because as an artist, you never delete anything. Artist, writer, whatever, don't ever delete anything. Always save it, because you never know when you can pull it back out and go, oh, well, I could use this here. So I feel like it could have honestly just been, because they eventually fixed it so you couldn't break out of the map and get to those rooms anymore. I feel like it could have just been like they made them, they had the assets, they just didn't delete them. And then when it came time to build this, and they're like, hey, so we need to do something cool, and somebody remembered those rooms and went, I got something. I think it'll work.
No.
Whatever.
I'm going to contradict that. That's a very big benefit of the doubt to ArenaNet, but they show every day that they do not waste dev time It was a one pass that you could break out into. It was a skeleton. It was not polished at all. It didn't look anywhere near what it was now, what we got in the final product. But I believe that the plan was there, and I'm gonna stop at that because it's just.
See, my thing is because it wasn't polished. That's where and like you said, they don't waste dev time. So somebody started working on these assets. They had them set up in space, like so that you'd go through a door and that's where you would pop down to. And then as they were working on them, they realized that, we're not going to use these, so stop working on them. So they weren't polished, and they didn't realize you could break out of the map and get to them.
The only, all right. So my only counter, and I'm going to stop at this. My only counter is that if the Quaticus Manor dungeon ended with a more definitive confirmation that Quaticus was the bad guy, I would agree that that was probably going to be some part of the dungeon, but it never was.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, they were working on these assets, and
they were working on the assets because they were closing out the story.
You're not going to work on assets 4 or 5 years in advance for something like that. Like,
but if you're in there, to me it makes sense. If you're in there,
that makes no sense. Well, nobody's going to be like, "Hey, we have this project coming up 5 years from now. Can you start working on the asset?"
No. The original plan was not 5 years from now. I'll get to that. Let's move on to the fight with Quaticus. One thing that came of it was Demi introduces herself back in, which made sense to me. I don't know why everybody was saying it didn't make sense. It absolutely made sense because she was tied in to
She's Quaticus's daughter.
Yeah, she was tied into the story. Yeah. It was part of the personal story. I don't think that they just brought her back. And the other part about Demi, when Demi got killed, what people don't realize, if you watch the cutscene when he shoots her, the gun is glowing with bloodstone energy. So a lot of people are like, well, why did she die? There was a medic there. Logan was standing there. Everybody's just watching her die. The bloodstone energy, or the bits of bloodstone that were in the bullet that hit her, is what
poisoned
did
her.
Exactly. It did irreparable damage. She couldn't be healed, and the death made sense to me. So I don't know why a lot of people were freaking out about that. The bloodstone. It was
sad.
It was
sad.
But it was well done. A lot of people were putting it down, and I don't see why.
I, at first, really didn't like it because I loved Demi, and I wanted to see her come back in a bigger form. So to see her come back in, I got all excited, and then to see her die, I was sad. But it made sense.
Yes.
It did make a lot of sense, and it was done in such a beautiful way where she, Master Tybalt. Oh my god. And you just know that Tybalt's spirit really was there. He'd come from the mist just to take her home, and I'm like tearing up right now.
It was sad.
It was beautifully done.
It was.
I do have to question why ArenaNet has this fetish with killing women by stabbing us or shooting us in our stomachs, though. Air died that way. Now we've got Demi dying. I'm like, if I see another NPC character in game die who is a woman by getting stabbed or shot through her stomach, I'm really gonna think somebody has some sort of weird fetish for it.
That and braids.
Yeah. So, but it was beautifully done. I do have to nitpick a little bit with just the voice actor pick because, and I cannot remember her name right now. I'm gonna call her Vivian Wee.
Villette.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, Villette Wee.
Villette, thank you.
Yeah.
It's Timy's voice actor. And it sounds like Timey.
You know what? I didn't pick up on that.
Oh, you didn't?
Me neither.
I could not hear it.
I was too engrossed in the story.
Yeah, I was too. If I go back and listen to it now, I'd probably hear it, but
if it's not Timy's voice actor, then I would be very shocked because it sounds like Timey.
I'm sure it's on the wiki.
Timey talking a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on the wiki.
Yeah, and it was so distracting for me because it's the same, the way she speaks as this character and the way Timey speaks, they have the same beats.
Mm-hmm.
Like where they pause, where they take breaths, her cadence, it's Timey as a human. And I just can't not hear Timey. And now that she's replaced Canuck as the secret spy for Countess Anise, I feel like we're going to see her more often, so there's going to be Timey and human Timey.
We're not going to see them again until chapter 7, if there is one.
Yeah, well, no, I don't mean like, I didn't mean to say like, every chapter is going to have them both, but it's just
anytime it comes up, yeah.
Yeah, like that's just so.
That's a fair point.
Weird. Like, why would you? I can see if you're having the same voice actor, but like they sound distinctly different. But these characters sound almost exactly the same. Like their voices are almost the same.
I have to listen to it now.
Like go listen to Timey talk, and then go listen to Valette talk. And if you didn't have the visual of here's Timey and here's Valette, like if there was nothing about the actual dialogue that indicated which character it was, you wouldn't know. And that is just, like I said, I just feel like that's a very strange casting choice.
Oh, I mean, is the voice actor union strike still going on, or? Yeah. That might be why.
But here's the thing. I don't know that affects ArenaNet. As ArenaNet, because it would only affect them if they're being striked against, and if they only take union.
Yeah.
Because you could be a game studio and you could be not included on that strike.
Well, they must not be, because Jenna's voice actress, I wish I could remember. Jennifer Hale, yeah.
Yeah.
She did it again.
Yeah, and even if they were having a strike against them, if they don't post union jobs, like it's only the union that is striking. There's tons of other voice actors out there. Not saying that they should be taking the jobs to cross picket lines because it's a small industry and people remember you. But there are plenty of companies out there who take non-union jobs and they're not being picketed against. They're not on this list of this company is evil, you should probably avoid them. Yeah. I haven't heard anything about ArenaNet being on that strike list.
They're probably not. I can see ArenaNet being very fair to the voice actors and actresses.
So, I mean, it might just be, we really like this voice actor, let's use him again, and just not paying attention to, like, you do realize you have Timey speaking in this chapter and Valette, and you do realize that the voice actor sounds the same both times. Or, like I said, any sort of difference is very minor.
Yeah. Well.
And I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just.
Well, I mean,
aware of it.
It's a fair point. It is a fair point. I'm going to listen to it the next time I go through it, but.
Yeah. Put that down in your show notes for next time. I would like to know. No, I'm serious. I want to know if you notice, or if
put that down in your show notes.
That's why I laughed the way she said it.
The way she said it, that's what it sounded like.
I will. I did it right now.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, I would like to know if it's just me. Am I the only one? Am I crazy? Is it the same voice actor? Is it not?
They list the voice actors on the wiki.
Yeah, I've already wikied twice. I'm wikied out.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. I'll take a listen to it.
Send for my spelling smalls.
So, all right. So let's get back to the story now. So, so you beat Quaticus in his mortal form. He shoots Demi with the bloodstone bullet and portals out. Valette becomes enraged and opens the portal to Quaticus's realm or inner sanctum, whatever it is. You fight him again, and he's a huge hulking beast. Like I said, the first time I had a problem in that room. The second time I didn't. I think the fight was okay. It was a pretty satisfying fight, and you kill Quaticus. So
yeah,
another storyline closed.
Yeah.
After that, we go up, see Demi's death, and then we go and check out Quaticus's room. And amongst the mirror on the ceiling and the weird art hanging on the wall, I don't know why he had a portrait of Logan. There is a
not
theory.
Even a small portrait.
Well, there's a theory out there
really weird.
Yeah, there's a theory out there that Logan possibly is an heir to the throne. I think that's a stretch. I don't think that's true at all. We all know that he's a descendant of Gwen Thackeray.
You know what I saw it as? I saw it as Quaticus wishes he was Logan.
Yeah.
Like Logan within the lore. I mean, he's this super attractive, manly, like he just he is the essence of man, like.
Yep.
And then you've got Codicus with his
Banana
goatee.
beard. It's a banana beard.
Yeah, and
At
like
least
no
it's not
hair.
a banana hammock.
Yeah, and he's Codicus. I mean, up until this point, was not a fighter. Like he was a snake behind the scenes. And then you've got Logan, charging into battle and being dashing and debonair and all those again.
Yeah.
Like just this essence of like, oh my God, Logan, whoo, fan myself. And
All right, so
yeah, so so I can see him commissioning this portrait of like again, putting Logan up on this pedestal of like, I wish I was that man. I will be. I just need more power, and I will rule Krita, and then people will admire me, kind of thing.
Codicus obviously has issues.
Yeah.
You find the mirror on the ceiling over his bed. You find the bad art and everything else, and then amongst all that, you find that he has withheld one of Lazarus's aspects.
Yeah.
He withheld it from Zara, so we find out that there is a possibility that Lazarus is fake. So the only question I have left is, where the living hell is Casimir? She was not even mentioned.
No, she sort of was, but not. You had to read the letters that you find around Lake Dork, and there was mention of Casimir
but they were
being
the letters
on some mission.
They were the letters from E, which is bringing E back into the story, and we just talked about that not too long ago. Gallios and I still believe that E is Avenia. I can
believe that, yeah.
I don't see any other way around it. There's something going on with this Mesmer collective that Casimir and Jenna and Anise are all a part of. I still believe that E is Avenia. It may seem weird, but it's not. I'm not so sure about Anise being Livia. I'd like to still say that is true, but I don't know. It's very strange. They also used the opportunity to present a journal of letters from Codicus that closed out pretty much all of the human personal story lines, as Codicus being the main proponent behind all of the dealings going on in the human personal story, brought a lot of stuff to a close. And they kind of gave him the Scarlet treatment, but it wasn't, it stuck. It was stuff that was planned for a long time. You could tell it was always planned. You always knew it was Codicus that was behind this stuff, and that was just the final confirmation. So they actually closed a lot of storylines with this one episode.
It was just revealing, like, you knew it was Codicus who was behind Big Nose Ted and behind this and that, but there was never that final proof of seeing it in the game. And this was just, here it is. Like, here's things that tie back over the past several years of the lore of the game, and here's that final proof so that people can stop saying, well, you don't know because it's not in game. No, here it is in game. Here's a letter he saved from 5 years ago that said, I want you to go kill this person.
Exactly. So it was also interesting to see that Avenia, E, the Mr. E, mystery.
Mistress. Mystery.
He or she was planning to work with Codicus at one point over something, and I think Codicus may have known who E really was. So there's still that kind of there, and the big cliffhanger was that Lazarus is not real. It still makes me question, where's Casimir? I mean, we haven't even offered Casimir a spot in Dragon's Watch for her to reject us yet. So, I'm
thinking maybe the next chapter.
Well, next chapter we're going back to Ember Bay.
I could see, because now that we're like, okay, so this isn't really Lazarus, so who and what is it?
Yeah.
And my God, Jory's with them, so that means Jory's potentially in danger. I would think that potential of Jory being in danger would draw Casimir out for the storyline. I mean, even if they're fighting, even if they've broken up temporarily, I hope, nothing more, that would be enough that Casimir would be like, okay, here I am from whatever secret missions she's been on.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. But the theory is, and it's not my theory, but I do believe it, is that, Living Story Chapter 1 was in Bloodstone Fen, and it dealt mainly with Lazarus and Quaticus.
Mm-hmm.
Living Story Chapter 4 closed out the Quaticus storyline and brought Lazarus back in. So it makes sense that the next Living Story chapter is going to be a return to Ember Bay, possibly to Abaddon's Mouth, to that Bloodstone, I think it's going to be in order to start the process of pitting Jormag and Primordus against each other. In that Living Story 2, we're going to see Aurene again. There's going to be something to do with Aurene because she hatched in that one in Living Story Season 2, so it's probably going to start. I think it's going to start with something with Aurene, but then we'll eventually be back to Ember Bay. So then Living Story Chapter 6 it'll close out what started in the Ember Bay in Chapter 2. Living Story Chapter 6 is going to close out what started in Chapter 3, and then I believe that Chapter 7 is going to be the bridge to the expansion. So that's just a timeline, I think. And I do believe that it can be inferred that Rox has joined Destiny's Edge, which is Bram's exploratory, in air quotes.
I mean, they've got a special relationship. Not special like creepy fan fiction special, but like they're like he's her warband. Like, this is her brother.
Yeah.
She is his sister, kind of thing. It doesn't matter that they're different species. Yeah. They've gone through the fires together, and he's in pain, and he needs her.
He's being corrupted.
Something's going on with him. But it doesn't have to be just emotional. But like, he is in pain. Something is happening with him, physically, emotionally, metaphysically, corruption-wise. I don't care. Sorry, I'm tired. So she's trying to be there to get him to step out of the shadows. Whether or not that will happen, I don't know at this point.
Yeah.
But she can't leave him.
Yeah.
I mean, even if Arena, please don't. But even if they decided, like, he is fully corrupted, he cannot be saved, even though that would be stupid since we can take him to the altar of Glost and purify him there. Even if they decided he cannot be saved, the one that would be the one to put him down would be Rox.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else would be unacceptable to me.
Well, Taimi had also said, too, that she did not want to lose Bram to Jormag, so it's out there that the theory of corruption is there and the possibilities there. The other thing, too, that I forgot to touch on was the next chapter we will find out what's going on with Ritlock, too, because that's when he was taken, was in Chapter 2. So they're going to close out that storyline in Chapter 6, right? No, Chapter 5, which I'm very excited for because that will prove that the 6 gave him the power, because that's what I believe. But
I'm sorry, I'm falling asleep. Were you saying words of importance?
I was. So anyway, that wraps up the story. So before I present my speculation, do you guys have any speculation for what's coming next?
Not really. I mean, we're gonna see Casimir. We're gonna find out what's going on with fake Lazarus, and Jory. We're gonna find out. We have to revisit Aurene because we haven't seen her in a while, and it just wouldn't make sense for us to be away from her for so long. Even as players, like, you don't want us to forget about her, and she is significant. So even if it's just another mini game of, hey, let's just go check in on her and make sure she stays happy and not evil.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
We may also see Gleam.
Yeah, I think there may be definitely Aurene. The Gleam thing, that's pretty interesting because I didn't even think about that. But I think you're going to need to visit Aurene in the next piece because
she'll be worked
it
in.
Is kind of odd.
She will be worked in, yeah. Maybe not fully because it was Chapter 3 that we started with her and did like that whole training session.
Right.
All we had was the final fight, so we might have another fight or whatever. But Anything else before I get started?
I'm turning catatonic, so I've got nothing.
And you know I'm a speculation
You're
Nimrod.
getting good at it. You're getting good at it, buddy.
I don't think so.
All right,
I don't even think so.
So I'm gonna try and breeze through this, but
Go.
Okay.
Levy, if you're listening, Levy, fast forward 10 minutes. I shared this with Levy, and he said I was bonkers.
Are
but,
you really gonna go on for 10 minutes?
Yeah, probably. Anyway, okay, so I have to preface this with I do not like this theory. I hate this theory. I don't want this to happen, but it makes sense to me. So this is very loose. This is not. This is definitely what's going to happen. We all know that there was a leak. Somebody called it papaya, and it dealt with us going to Alona next in the next expansion. It never made sense to me until this Living Story chapter, and unfortunately, I have to put it out there. So, what I think is happening is we're going to find out that Kralkatorrik, we already know that Kralkatorrik has dominion over crystal. That's its environmental realm of influence, but I think we're going to find out that its sphere of influence is illusion. It's out there. It's part of the magic. It's going to be the chaos side of it, and Mordramoth was plant and mind. Kralkatorrik is going to be crystal and illusion. I think that the rise of Mesmers in the White Mantle, the whole Mesmer coalition, whatever it's called, the group that Jenna and Anise and Casimir are all a part of, are being influenced by Kralkatorrik. And that is going to be the link to the expansion. That's why I'm kind of and I see that dark side in Jenna. I think that she is allowing things to play out to her hand. And there's always been one part of Destiny, two parts of Edge of Destiny that stuck out to me. The first was when Logan first met Jenna, he started bumbling like a fool, and everybody was like, it was love at first sight and everything else. And I did believe that that's what it was at first.
Lust at first sight.
Maybe it was lust at first sight too. It could be. But at any rate, even Dylan Thackeray, Logan's brother, had asked the Queen directly if she had put Logan under some kind of spell, and she never answered. But at the key part of the battle in Destiny's Edge, or Edge of Destiny, Glint gets killed. She puts the yoke on Kralkatorrik. He's snared. Snap has him. Snap's working into his brain deeper and deeper, and actually penetrates Kralkatorrik's brain to a point where Kralkatorrik cannot do anything about it and begins to control him. At that very point is when Jenna calls Logan to her. Logan goes to her. He fights a couple of the beasties, and Jenna makes a phantasm Kralkatorrik and leads the ogres away. Now, it never sat right with me, but if you think about it, when you're telling the story, the events are unfolding. You're under the impression that the events are unfolding together, at certain points. What I think now is that the ogres and hyenas that Jenna sent away with the Kralkatorrik phantasm were actually the hyenas that killed Snap. So I believe under the influence of Kralkatorrik, Jenna saved Kralkatorrik. And that is going to be the common theme. That's what's going to bring us in. So now, when it comes to Primordus and Jormag, they're awake, they're active, they're going to fight each other. Either what's going to happen is, one, Primordus and Jormag are going to kill each other without the player's hand. Two, Primordus is going to kill Jormag, but he's going to be wounded. It's going to be wounded and return underground, leaving Kralkatorrik as the only viable dragon to fight. Or three, Kralkatorrik's going to attack while those two are attacking each other, and our attention has to turn to Kralkatorrik. Either way, that's going to bring us to Alona and Kralkatorrik at least the Crystal Desert. I don't believe we're going to go into the nation of Alona, but we will be in the Crystal Desert in the expansion. And I hate it, but it makes complete sense to me because I see the connection now to the current story, because that's always been the problem that I had with it. Other things that are out there with Bram and Rox and everybody else, and where the hell is Casimir and Lazarus and everything else, I don't know how that's going to play out, but I do think that it's very possible that we see both Elder Dragons die in the living story, which is sad to me. And the only reason why I think that is because I've always said from the beginning, ArenaNet's original plan was probably similar to the Guild Wars release. Somewhere along the line, they decided that they wanted to deliver new content through Living Story. That was the way they were going to do it. That was going to be their groundbreaking billing model, a free game with free content dependent on the gem store. That's how they would make their money. Possibly sell a campaign. When Living Story first came out, they were not selling any expansions. I believe it set them back. When they started development in 2007, the plan was core drops, you fight Zaitan. 1 year later, you fight Morgemoth. 1 year later, you fight Jormag. 1 year later, you fight Primordius, so on and so forth. So that way, within 6 years, you're done with the Dragon story arc, and you're done. If they kill Jormag and Primordius in the living story, that resets their timeline and puts them back on schedule as far as the Dragon story arc.
Ooh.
And that's the only reason why it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I hate this theory, and I hope that it doesn't come true. I don't think that every aspect, like mounts and all the other stupid balance things that this guy put, or elite specializations that whoever leaked this, and called it papaya, I don't think that stuff may or may not come. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure between the leaked screenshot, the Junundu models accidentally being released, I really do think we're going to Alona next. That's my theory. And I think I think the connection is Jenna. Not just Jenna, but Mesmers.
The only part of that I actually, and I know you probably won't believe me, but it's the God's honest truth. The only part of that I actually was going to say, but I was too afraid, was the tie-in to Kralkatork with Jenna. That's the only thing that you said out of that I actually had thought about.
Yeah.
And wanted to say, but was too cowardly.
See, you got to speak up, brother.
Yeah, still.
I did share that on Twitter. I DM'd Levy. I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And he said, "You're fucking stupid," But, he had his points to it, and he did shoot some holes in the theory. But even at the weakest sense, like if you look at a Mesmer magic is kind of a pinkish purplish glow. Well, so is Kralkatork's magic. When you look at crystals, when you look at branded, it might be a little bit darker shade, but it's close. It's close. So I think the link to Kralkatork is going to be Mesmers, and I think that we are going to Alona next. And I hate the theory. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope that they don't kill two Elder Dragons in a living story with both killing each other. But to me, it's a very real possibility, because if I was the captain of this ship, I would accelerate this Dragon story arc, because there's so much stuff that's broken right now in this game that the only hope for fixing a lot of this stuff that's broken is Guild Wars 3. And I still believe that when we kill Steve McBubbles or Kralkatork, whichever one is last, but it's obviously going to be Steve McBubbles, with that dragon's death comes the announcement for Guild Wars 3. So, again, I hate this theory. I hope I'm wrong, but I saw the connection, and I'd be a fool to ignore it because I didn't like it.
Yeah. No, I see a lot. I see a lot of what you're saying, so well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes up. And I agree with the connection. I mean, the colors are right. You know, Crocotoric's pinky purples and the Mesmer pinky purples. So
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
it'll be interesting. I'm not saying it. I'm gonna be my usual self and be like, it's an interesting theory until I see it in game. It's just a theory.
Well, don't get me wrong. I do not want to see this in game. I want to go north and have a proper fight with Jormag. Or even if we do the double dragon, if we have a proper fight with Primordus and Jormag in the next expansion, that's what I want. That's what I've been saying for a long time. I will have to make a hard choice if I want to continue playing this game if 2 Elder Dragons die in a living story, not by the player character's hand. The Zaitan battle was not very good. The Mordremoth battle I felt was a little bit better and a little bit more believable in lore.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to fight Jormag. I want to see a proper Elder Dragon. I want to see how they are for real, because we never even really saw Mordremoth. Mouth of Mordremoth was just a vine, you know. Mordremoth that we see in the final instance was just an aspect of Mordremoth. We never saw Mordremoth, and supposedly he was so huge that he was the entire Magumo jungle. I want to see a dragon. I want to see Crocotoric's wingspan from horizon to horizon in game. That's what I want to see. But I saw the connections. I can't ignore it. It's an interesting theory. If we do go to Alona and we do fight Crocotoric next, though, I truly believe that the link will be Mesmer's in general.
I can't dispute it.
Damn it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I was thinking. I told you. I was just afraid to say it, but it's what I was thinking. It just made too much sense. I'm like you. I don't want it to be that way because I feel like it's taking a shortcut.
Yeah.
Just to get to Guild Wars 3. I don't know if I'm willing to give that kind of thing up.
Well, even that, I don't even know for sure that they're going to go to Guild Wars 3. Again, if I was captaining the ship, that's what I would do. I would, but ArenaNet has shown in the past that they are willing to, not the devs, to be clear, management or whoever makes the decision. Well, management, there's one person that makes the decision on the final content. That person is very willing to cut out story. We saw it with Malik. We saw it with a bunch of things in Heart of Thorns. And, you know, I really, really hope that it's not true. I really, really hope that we don't just get a cutscene and watch 2 Elder Dragons fall. But it's definitely a very real possibility. So,
yeah, I can see where. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to wrap things up. I mean, we're seeing that now where they're wrapping up storylines. I am starting to feel more and more like what you said. They want to move on from the dragon storyline. They want to move on from what's happening. They clearly want to try a bunch of new game mechanics since they keep putting different game mechanics into the game instead of just focusing on the ones they've already have. So,
and more importantly, they want to close these nagging storylines. They closed a lot of storylines in just one living world chapter. There is definitely an accelerated feeling right now, and I don't know. I don't like it, but I mean, it is what it is, and we'll see. Like I said, I think that we only have 3 chapters left. We're gonna have chapter 5, clear out chapter 2. Close out those storylines. Chapter 3, chapter 6 does chapter 3, and then chapter 7 will be the bridge into the expansion, and that brings, chapter 7 would release in somewhere around September.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're giving us a lot of lead time on it. They're not going to give us a big expansion announcement until the living story's closed.
I hope this doesn't turn out to be they're trying to wrap up everything to close out Guild Wars 2 to move on to something that isn't Guild Wars. Because because I like Guild Wars. And it's fair. Studios do move on. You know, Bungie created Halo and then wanted to move on, so they closed out Halo. They sold it to Microsoft. Microsoft took on the Halo mantle. But Bungie has nothing to do with Halo anymore. Bungie went, we're done. We're tired of that franchise. We wanted to do something new, and so now they're doing Destiny. Studios do it all the time.
Yeah.
God, who is it? Horizon Zero Dawn is a complete departure for that studio from game mechanics, from story that they've previously done. I mean, everybody's looking at it going like, how did you completely reinvent your studio? Like, this is not something we expected from you. So I think my fear, just because I love Guild Wars and the lore in the world so much, is that they would be trying to rush through closing out Guild Wars 2 to close out Guild Wars and move on to a new franchise. Which is not to say that a
No.
new franchise wouldn't be amazing, but
They might even just be looking to close out the Dragon story arc to get back to some more interesting story arc. The Living Story, the introduction, the change of gears to Living Story, and then the change of gears back to a box expansion has put the game behind. We're coming up on the 5th birthday, and we've only killed 2 dragons. So if that's how it's going to be, you're talking well into 2025, 2026 before we see the end of the Dragon story arc. I don't think they're going to stand for that. I think that they're going to try to accelerate it. And, you know, maybe they should. I don't know. It's a little scary right now for the first time in a long time. And maybe it's just because we've been cut off from any kind of comments and stuff for so long. I don't know what's going to happen. And I felt I had a pretty good idea. I'm not always right with my theories, but I think I've always had a pretty good feeling of what direction we were going in. And this is the first time since I started playing Guild Wars 2 that I don't have a clear direction on which way we're going. And maybe that's a good thing. We'll see. All right, so with that, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back to close out the show. And we're back.
It's a miracle.
How was everybody's break?
It was great.
I took a nap. I napped.
So that's it. That's our thoughts on Head of the Snake. I think it was one of the better stories, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see what happens next. So that's where I'll leave that. Gallios.
Yeah.
We have any shout outs?
Yes, sir. I do not. Not this week. Nothing to shout.
Nothing to shout.
Really, nothing to shout about. I got nothing.
All right.
I am dry.
That's all right. Cora?
I'm finally going to stop tweeting about Quaggan lore.
Oh my god. It went on for so long.
It did, because some little Quaggan kept following me around shouting, more lore, foo, more lore, foo. And so I had to keep talking about the lore.
I really didn't realize that Quaggan had so much lore.
They apparently do. And it did sort of work in my benefit, again, being so ill that I was just like, all right, here, have some Quaggan.
Have a little more Quaggan with your stew.
Yeah. A little more Quaggan in your stew. So yeah, so I tweeted about Quaggan lore for God only knows how long. So I'll move on to something new. Maybe Crate.
Maybe the 6.
I've tweeted about them before. Maybe I'll tweet about them again. So yeah, I'll figure something new out. A new series.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty dry this week too. I've been working a lot, so I haven't been game too much, but you know, hopefully that'll change soon. So, all right, so nice and easy. All right, so Gallios, if the good people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
They can get to me in game at gallios.8142. You can reach me on our Discord at gallios3334. And what's that other thing I use? Oh yeah, Twitter at Gallios_GW2. And that's pretty much it without giving away any of my personal information.
Yeah, don't do that, buddy. All right, Cora, what if the good people want to get in touch with you?
I will be in my bed sleeping. But you can also find me on Twitter at Guild Lores and on Instagram and Tumblr, and I have a Discord that I never use, but it's there because I need to start using it more. So just go to social media and you can find me at Guild Lores. Like I said, I'm also in bed and Twitter doesn't take a whole lot of energy. So
All
That's
right.
me.
If you want to get in touch with the show, you can email us at sotdpodcast@gmail.com, and you can follow us on Twitter at SOTD_podcast. You can also check out our website at sotdpodcast.com. And if you like what we do, you can contribute to our Patreon, and all the info for that is on the website. We're also available on mognation.com, which is currently in the midst of overhauling the entire site. So I'm pretty excited to see the new product. I know that there was some issues with Avast. For some reason, Avast marks that as a malicious website. It really is not malicious. So you should go by there and check it out. Check out some of the other good podcasts in the Mog Nation library and great articles and other good stuff too. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can get me on Twitter at Gord the Norn. You can get me on Discord at Gord #4133. And you can always reach me in game if I'm there at Gord.8654. This was a good one. Had a lot of fun. I love this living story. This living story was really good.
It was fun. I have to agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I was sick and I still enjoyed it. So
I actually, now that the show is over, I have decided to start doing the Khaled Bog regeneration quest.
It's a great quest. It's a
Yeah,
great
I
quest.
just started it just now.
Good man, finish it straight through.
I will put that
Yeah,
on
I'm
my
gonna try.
weekend list.
Yeah, because that last battle is the snap moment. I love it. All right,
Oh,
so
snap.
so that's gonna do it for us. Thanks for listening, guys, and we will see you in a couple weeks.
See
you guys.
y'all.
Good night.
Bye.
So one more. Do I have one more? I have some ninja news, but I don't remember what it was.
All right, next thing then.
Well, the next thing would be the ninja news. I just have
Well,
to
I know, but
refresh my
if you don't know
memory.
what it is, then like.
Well, if you read the show notes, you would know that we were at the end of the.
Well,
of
that's what
this
I
news
mean. Like,
segment.
end the news and go to the next thing. If you
But
can't
I
remember
have
what.
ninja news.
But you don't know what it is. So
But I'll
you just
remember
keep
it.
saying ninja news, and I'm like, that's great.
Ninja news.
What was it? All right, I guess we'll move
Maybe you should make better show notes if you can't.
on. No, because
cannot remember.
the ninja news is new because I don't put it in the show notes, and then I surprise you and Gallios with it.
Well, you apparently aren't doing very good at that,
Oh
are you?
no! I remember what it was, but I decided to change it.
She decided to change it.
Well, it's not the right. It's not the right place for it. So.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so that